So today I'm going to talk about how media and public opinion impacted the Partial Birth Abortion Ban Act. It became a law in 2003, and according to Congress.gov, this law amends the Federal Criminal Code to prohibit any physician or other individual from knowingly performing a partial birth abortion, except when necessary to save the life of a mother whose life is endangered by a physical disorder, illness, or injury. Media and public opinion played a really big role in this law. And according to Countable.us, people first heard about partial birth abortion when Dr. Martin Haskell wrote a paper and gave a presentation on it in 1992. And this is when the National Right to Life Committee began a campaign to bring public awareness to this method of abortion. So according to the National Public Radio, the National Right to Life Committee used many different media outlets to actually gain awareness. So a couple of things that they did is they published booklets, they had ads in the newspaper, and they also did a magazine interview. And the magazine interview is actually what gained the most attention, and this is what caught the eye of a lot of people because it brought them, it told them like what the partial birth abortion method, like what it actually did and the procedures of it. And so this gained a lot of attention because it kind of opened their eyes up to the different methods of abortion. But at the time, the majority of the public had a different view on abortion. And according to the National Public Radio, in April 1996, President Clinton, he vetoed the Partial Birth Abortion Ban Act, and a month later, a poll was done by the Pew Research Center that showed that 32% believed that abortion should be generally available, and only 9% believed that it shouldn't be permitted at all, which shows you how the reason that Clinton actually vetoed it was because the public's opinion at this time was that abortion was actually necessary. But in July of 2002, another poll was done by the Pew Research Center, which actually showed that 42% of people completely agree with protecting the rights of the unborn in almost all cases, and 8% completely disagree. So it shows you how the public opinion really changed over time, and how in '96 they believed that abortion was actually necessary. But in 2002, around the time that this bill was actually passed, people believed that abortion was something that we shouldn't have, and that, or at least that it should be something that should kind of be talked about a little bit more. So now I'm going to talk about how majority tyranny impacted this law. According to the National Public Radio, in November 1995, this act was passed in the House, and in December 1995, it passed in the Senate, but was vetoed by the president. And the same thing happened in 1997. And according to history.house.gov, the Republicans had control of the House and the Senate at the time. So this kind of shows you how majority plays a part in what laws are actually passed. The only reason this one didn't actually become a law at the time was because the president was a Democrat, and this did not line up with his views and his opinion, but it lined up with the views and the opinion of the Republican Party. And that is why in 2003 it actually became a law, because the House and the Senate still had control. The Republican Party still had control in the House and the Senate, but the only difference this time was that the president was actually Republican. So it worked out in the House and the Senate's favor this time, because it lined up with their opinion or with their beliefs, and it also lined up with the president's beliefs. So that is why it was actually able to become a law. And that is all I have for today.